Good morning. We'll start slow today, like we always do, and build our way up to a flow. Um, let's start today in child's pose. So come to hands and knees, big toes together. If the knees are okay with it, sit the hips all the way back. Can crawl the hands out in front of you, forehead down to the mat. If your upper body needs a little bit more time to open, you can always relax the arms down, let the elbows rest. This is probably a nice, softer way to start anyway. Close the eyes. Start to take a deeper inhale in through the nose. Back out through the nose. 2 more like that one together. Deep breath in through the nose. And back out through the nose. Inhale, deep breath in. As long as you can, back out through the nose. Keep going with this breath. If the elbows are resting on the mat, maybe crawl the hands forward a little bit more. So you can press down into the palms, hug the elbows in toward one another. Maybe the forearms lift away from the mat. Lift the head, looking forward at the hands, thread the left arm through underneath you, set the left side of the head down onto the mat. Same thing, child's pose, we're just adding a shoulder opening. Come back to center with your child's pose. Switch sides, thread the right arm underneath you, set the side of the head down onto the mat. Maybe close the eyes, stay with your same breath, Ujjayi breath. Back to center with your child's pose. Forehead rests down on the mat. Let's come up to hands and knees, tabletop. Separate the feet. Knees are hip width distance apart. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. On the inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the tail. Exhale, round the spine, chin in toward the chest. Keep going on your own, cat-cow breath. And finish the round that you're on. Coming back to a neutral spine, turn the hands around. So bring the backs of the hands to the mat, fingertips point toward one another. You can sit the hips back. That'll take some pressure off of the wrists. And then maybe if you get a little bit more comfortable, you start to bring the shoulders forward so they get closer to the wrists, maybe even right over the wrists. Try to stay with your Ujjayi breath. Keep the fingers spread. And you're pressing the backs of the hands into the mat the way you would if they were the other way. Sit the hips back, bring the hands back down to the mat. Turn the fingertips out. So palms are down, fingertips are pointing toward the sides of the mat. And then circle the shoulders over the wrists. Switch the direction, go the other way with your circles. Back to center, turn the hands back around, fingertips pointing toward the top of the mat. Step the left toes back behind you. Keep the toes down on the mat. Just fire up that left leg. So you're pressing out through the sole of the foot. Core hugs in, chest reaches forward a little bit. Lift the left heel up to hip height or a little bit lower. Just try not to go higher. Come up onto the right fingertips. Reach the right arm forward like you're going to shake someone's hand. Then try to level off the chest, the hips. Take an inhale, get long. On the exhale, elbow to knee. Scoop the belly round the spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Set the right hand down to the mat. Set the left toes down to the mat. Spin that left heel down flat. So left toes are pointing out. Walk that foot back a little bit. You want the toes of the right foot to point to the arch of the left foot. From here, kick this right foot out to the side so it's off the mat. Right hand can go out to the right a little bit too. Maybe it's off the mat. Left arm reaches up. So you're coming into a modified side plank, but we widen our base. So you don't have to deal so much with the balance. You can just focus on your core. Lift that left leg up. Keep the toes pointing straight forward. Sometimes they want to go up to the ceiling, but we want to keep them straight forward so that left hip stays in place. Then turn that left palm to face forward. Reach the left arm up and over the ear. Get as long as you can in that left side body. Then see if you can get a little lighter in that right hand, right wrist area. Set the left foot down to the mat, left hand down to the mat. Make your way back to tabletop, all fours. This time, right toes step back behind you. Fire up the right leg first with the toes down on the mat. You'll feel length in the front side of the torso when you do that. Lift the heel up to hip height, maybe a little bit lower. Come up onto the left fingertips. Reach the left arm forward. Get long. Take an inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee. Lift that right foot up as high as you can. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale, extend. Set the left hand down, the right toes down. Spin that right heel down flat. Walk the foot back a few inches. Kick the left foot off of the mat out to the side. Left hand can come out to the side. Right arm reaches up. Root down through that right leg so you feel like it's engaged, and then play with lifting the right foot up. Toes point straight forward. Turn the right palm to face forward. Stretch the right arm up and over the ear. Core is hugging in. Outer hips are engaged. Right arm reaches back up to the sky. Right foot comes down to the mat. Right hand down to the mat. Back to tabletop, all fours. Good. From here, keep the hips right over the knees. Bring the forearms and elbows down to the mat. So elbows and hands are shoulder width distance apart. Shoulders are right over the elbows. Step the feet back behind you. Come into forearm plank. So core is engaged. Hips are level with the body. So sometimes we lift them up higher or lower. See if you can get them level. So you make one long line. You're lifting the quads, navel to sternum. Gaze is down on the mat, but a little bit forward, up between the hands. And you're with your Ujjayi breath, trying to keep things as steady as possible. Set the hips down to the mat, tops of the feet to the mat, Sphinx pose. Tail goes back toward the heels. Broaden across the chest, look down the bridge of the nose to keep the back of the neck long. And as you press into the tops of the feet, get even with where you press into the tops of the feet. So you're not you're not heavier on the inner edge of the foot or the outer edge. And this is how your legs should feel when you're doing all of your back bends. So cobra, upward facing dog, they should be completely engaged. Tops of the feet should be weighted evenly. Come down onto your stomach, stretch the arms out in front of you like you're flying, palms are down. Keep pressing into the tops of the feet to keep the knees lifted. Lift the hands up to shoulder height. Take an inhale. On the exhale, cactus the arms, lift and spread the chest. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift and spread the chest. One more like that. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift and spread the chest. Bring the hands down by the side ribs. You're in cobra, outer elbows hug in. Exhale, release. Come back to child's pose. Hands and knees, big toes together. Sit as you sit the hips back, forehead comes down. See if you can crawl the hands farther forward this time. So shoulders are way back, just like downward facing dog. Now take downward facing dog. Look forward at the hands, shift forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Plenty of time here. If you have a ritual of movement that you like to go through in your first downward facing dog, now's the time. If you don't, perhaps a bend in the knees could be nice. Legs probably need some more time to open up. Lift the right leg up and back, three-legged down dog. Bring the knee to the nose. Scoop the belly around the spine. Come back to three-legged down dog. Knee to the nose. Set the knee down onto the mat. So that right shin's just right down on the mat. Left foot comes out to the side. Left toes are pointing straight. Left foot's off the mat. One hand at a time, bring the hands up to the hips. You're standing on that right knee, left leg out to the side. And then take a peek at that left foot. You want it right in line with the hip, not in front or behind it. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Left hand can start to slide down the outside edge of the left leg, and you can lean up and over to the left with the upper body. So gate pose. Come back through to center, hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, hands come down in front of the shoulders, left foot steps back like plank pose, hug the right knee in toward the nose, step the right foot all the way through, up between the hands. Runner's lunge, right foot forward. And then from here, maybe you come up onto the fingertips, lifting the chest, hips can go down a little lower if you'd like. Straighten the front leg. So you can walk the hands back as far as you want. You're high on the ball of the back foot. Let the head and the neck go. Take it easy on the back side of the right leg. You just want a gentle opening there. You're still warming things up. Inhale forward to your lunge, right hand inside the right foot, heel toe the right foot out to the right. So the outer edge of the mat, right hand right underneath the right shoulder. Left knee, back knee comes down to the mat. Keep the chest lifted. Let's just get a little deeper into this right hip. And you're keeping the chest lifted so the upper back stays long instead of rounded. Look down at the mat, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Bring the knee to the nose on the inhale. Exhale back, three-legged down dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Set the knee, shin, top of the foot straight down to the mat. Right foot comes off the mat out to the right. Walk the hands in, bring the hands up to the hips. Check the right foot, make sure it's right in line with the right hip. Left arm reaches up, lean to the left. Oh, sorry, lean to the right. So right hand's going down the outer edge of that right leg. This is a hip opening. It's a nice side body opening. It's also a pose I forget about sometimes and I really like. Come back to center, hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, hands come down to the mat, right foot steps back like plank pose, hug that left knee in toward the nose, step the left foot all the way through up to the top of the mat. Come up onto the fingertips, chest lifts, hips lower a little bit, just your standard runner's lunge, trying to keep the chest high, upper back long. Straighten the front leg, maybe walk the hands back. It'll give you a little bit more ease in the shape. Let the head and the neck go. Inhale forward to your lunge. Heel toe the left foot out to the left. Bring the left hand inside the left foot. Set the back knee down. Keep the chest lifted. Left knee, left toes pointing straight forward if you can. Look down at the mat. Lift that back knee up. Step back. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Let's walk the feet up to the hands. So take a bunch of steps to get there. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Two more of those, Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time, circle the arms all the way up on your inhale. Bring the hands together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands come down to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway, chaturanga, up dog or cobra, up dog if you're ready for it. We did some back bends. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, bring the feet up to the hands, maybe step the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees deeply, look forward to the top of the mat, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. One more cycle of Surya A. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, bring the feet up to the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms circle to the top on the inhale. Hands come together down in front of the heart on the exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, bend the knees, back to plank pose, shift forward onto the toes, lower down halfway. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back, three-legged down dog. Knee to nose on the inhale. Stack the shoulders over the wrists. Inhale back, three-legged down dog. Inhale, knee to nose. Set that right knee, shin, foot down on the mat. Left leg goes out to the side. Hands up onto the hips. Right arm reaches up. Slide the left hand down the left leg and keep reaching over with that right arm. Staying firm in that right side of the body. So that right quad is strong. Outer right hip hugs in. Outer left hip hugs in too to keep you stable. Come back to center, hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, bring the hands down underneath the shoulders. Left foot steps back like plank pose and knee to nose, right knee to nose. Step the right foot all the way through, up between the hands, crescent pose. Once you get to crescent pose, straighten both legs, hug the outer hips in, keep reaching up to the sky. Come back to crescent pose. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up. Exhale, crescent pose. Inhale, straighten both legs, reach up, stay here. Turn the toes to the left so you're facing the side of the mat. Angle in the right toes, turn the left toes all the way out, warrior two facing the back of the mat. Chest is lifted. Try to keep the weight even in both legs. So you're still using that back leg. Flip the front palm, left palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Front knee is still lunging forward. Straighten that left leg, reverse triangle, turn the left toes to face the side of the mat, angle the right toes to turn out, right forearm, right thigh, left arm reaching up and over, extended side angle, facing the front of the mat. Look down at that right foot, hands to the mat, come onto the ball of the back foot, step back, downward facing dog, stay here, or you have time for a vinyasa if you want one. Skip them when you don't. Left leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose on the inhale. Inhale back, three-legged down dog. Knee to nose on the inhale. Set that left knee, shin, top of the foot down to the mat. Right foot comes out to the side, toes point forward, hands up to the hips. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Right arm down the side of the leg, up and over with the left arm. Parigasana gate pose. Come back through to center. Hands come to the hips first. Bend forward halfway. Hands come down to the mat like plank. Right foot steps back like plank. Left knee to the nose. Step that left foot all the way through, up between the hands. Crescent pose. Next, inhale, straighten both legs. Outer hips hug in, core hugs in. Exhale back, crescent pose. Inhale, lift up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, crescent pose. Inhale, lift up, turn the toes to the right, angle in the left toes, turn the right toes all the way out. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, facing the back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reach up and back, reverse warrior, deep lunge in that front knee. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Turn the right toes in to face the side of the mat. Turn the left toes all the way out. Left forearm, left thigh, still reaching up and over the right ear. Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Look down at the foot, left foot, hands to the mat, back to downward facing dog. Stay here, vinyasa, you choose. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on your inhale. All the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, step back, vinyasa or downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back, three-legged down dog. Knee to nose on the inhale. Back to downward facing, three-legged downward facing dog. Knee to nose. Set that right knee shin down. Left foot comes out to the side. Hands up to the hips. Right arm reaches up. Left hand down the side of the leg. Up and over, gate pose. Back through to center, hands to the hips. Fold forward halfway, hands come down to the mat. Left toe step back behind you, plank pose. Right knee to the nose. Step the right foot through up to the top of the mat. Take it up to crescent pose when you're ready. Straighten both legs, reach up tall. Back to crescent pose, lunge in that front knee. Bring it back up, straighten the front leg, reach up. Forward to crescent pose. This time, come back to a straight front leg, turn the toes to the left, angle in the right toes, turn the left toes all the way out, warrior 2, back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Left toes turn to the side of the mat. Keep angling them in. Turn the right toes out. Right forearm, right thigh. Left arm up and over. Extended side angle. Hands come down to the mat any way you want. Back to downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose. Back to three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Set the shin down onto the mat. Right foot comes out to the side. Hands up to the hips. Standing tall on that left knee. Reach the left arm up. Right arm down the side of the leg. Up and over with the left arm. Open up that left side body. Come back to center, hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, hands down in front of the shoulders, right foot steps back, left knee to nose, step the left foot all the way through up between the hands, find crescent pose with the feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, straighten the front leg, exhale, crescent. Inhale, straighten the front leg, exhale, crescent. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Keep lifting up. Turn the toes to the right. Angle in the left toes. Right toes all the way out. Warrior two, back of the mat. Flip the front palm up. Reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg. Reverse triangle. Turn those right toes in, angle the left toes out, forearm to thigh, right arm up and over the ear, extended side angle. Drive down through that right leg as you reach up and over with the right arm. Hands to the mat, make your way back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths in your downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, bring the feet up to the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Come into chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Come all the way up to standing. Hands come together down in front of the heart. Bring the arms down by the sides. Take Tadasana, mountain pose. So feet are hip width distance apart, chest is lifted, legs are rooting down toward the earth. And then you try to find some focal point, one spot in front of you that won't move, that you can stare at. Stay fixated with your gaze. Bring the hands to the hips. Start to shift the weight over to the right foot. Take tree pose. Bring that left foot inside the leg, either down on the ankle with the toes down, up to the calf below the knee, or maybe you reach down, grab for the foot, get the foot up as high as you can to the inner thigh. Arms can reach up, Vrikshasana tree pose. Hands can come together, down in front of the heart. Step the feet side by side, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up and back, three-legged down dog. Right knee to nose. Back to three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Set the shin and knee down onto the mat. Left foot comes out to the side. This time, keep the hands down on the mat right in front of you. So legs are set up like a gate pose. Left hand stays down. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Thread the right arm through underneath you, setting the right side of the head down to the mat. Left hand still in front of the face on the mat. You could stay right here. You could also reach the left arm up to the sky, turn that left palm to face behind you, and wrap the left arm behind the back. Anywhere where you get more of an opening in that left side chest, left shoulder area. Left arm reaches back up to the sky. Bring the left hand back down to the mat. Come back up onto both hands. Step the left foot back behind you. Right knee to the nose. Step the right foot through, up between the hands. Take crescent pose. Straighten the front leg, lift up. Back to crescent pose. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, crescent. Inhale, straighten the front leg, hug those outer hips in toward the midline, turn the toes to the left, angle in the right toes, turn the left toes all the way out, warrior two. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Come up to standing, arms out wide. Take triangle facing the back of the mat. So hip shift back, left arm reaches forward. Bring the left hand down lightly to the shin. Reach the right arm up or a block. Come back to reverse triangle. So same legs, just reach that left arm up and back. Right arm rests on the back leg, really light. Turn the left toes toward the side of the mat. Keep angling them in. Turn the right toes all the way out. Extended side angle. Forearm to thigh. If the hip feels open, you can go deeper. Right hand inside or outside the foot. Bring the gaze down to the mat, hands to the mat, come onto the ball of the back foot, step the left foot up to meet the right foot, inhale up halfway, exhale, fold, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose, all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment to get set up here. This is the foundational pose. You want to feel like this in every shape that we're in, even in grounded. And then we start to challenge ourselves. So find your drishti, your focal point in front of you. Bring the hands to the hips. Shift the weight over to the left foot. Find tree pose on this side. Hug that outer left hip in and lift the lower belly. That's where your stability comes from. Arms can reach up. When you feel ready, you could also keep the hands in prayer in front of the heart if that's feeling better for whatever reason. Right foot comes back down to the mat. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step back to plank pose. Straight back, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up right away. Left knee to nose. Inhale back, three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Set that left knee, shin, foot down. Right leg goes out to the side. Hands stay down on the mat in front of you. This time, we lift the left arm up. Thread the left arm through underneath, setting the left side of the head down onto the mat. Right arm could reach up to the sky if you feel comfortable. Turn the right palm to face behind you. Wrap the right arm behind the back. Right arm reaches back up to the sky. Bring the right hand down in front of the face. Press back up onto both hands. Right foot steps back like plank pose. Left knee in toward the nose. Step the left foot all the way through up between the hands. Rise up, crescent pose. Inhale, straighten both legs, lift up. Exhale, back, crescent pose. Inhale, straighten both legs, hug the outer hips in. Exhale, crescent pose. Last one, inhale, lift up, turn the toes to the right, angle in the left toes, turn the right toes all the way out, warrior two, back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, still reaching up and back, reverse triangle. Get some length in that right side body here. Hang on to it as best you can. Come up to standing, shift the hips back, right arm reaches forward, right arm down, left arm up. Triangle pose. And then think about it before you get there. It's just the upper body. You'll need to squeeze the legs together. You're coming back to reverse triangle. Go slow, feel the core work for you. Flip that front palm up, reach up and back. Front leg is straight without locking the front knee. Turn those right toes in, keep angling them in, turn the left toes out, left forearm, left thigh, right arm up and over. Hands come down to the mat. You're on the ball of the back foot, widen the stance. Right foot steps up to meet the left foot. Come up halfway, slide the hands up the sides of the legs. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, back to plank pose. Maybe vinyasa on the way to downward facing dog, or just go straight there. Few breaths in downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back, three-legged down dog, knee to nose. Back to three-legged down dog, knee to nose. Set the right shin down onto the mat. Left foot comes out to the side, hands up to the hips. Reach the right arm up, lift up and over to the left. Last gate pose on this side. Come back to center, hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, hands come down in front of the shoulders, left toes step back behind you, find plank pose, right knee comes in toward the nose, step that right foot forward up between the hands, come to crescent pose. This time, bring the hands together right down in front of the heart. Open the chest to the right. Start to lean forward. Maybe rest the elbow or hook the elbow outside of the thigh. You can lean back a little bit with the chest and the torso to get some more length in the spine. Look down at the mat, hands to the mat, any way you want. Back to downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back, knee to nose. Back to three-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Set the shin down onto the mat. Right foot comes out to the side. Toes point forward. Hands up to the hips. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Right arm down the side of the leg. Up and over with the left arm. Back through to center, hands to the hips, fold forward halfway, bring the hands down in front of the shoulders, step the right foot back behind you, left knee to nose, step the left foot all the way through, up between the hands, crescent pose. Hands come together, down in front of the heart, open the chest to the left. Take that twist forward. Gently start to lean forward, rest the elbow, hook the elbow. Get as long as you can in the spine. So chest is high, hips are a little low. You can lean back with the torso a little bit if you want to. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, maybe into the twist. Looking down at the mat, hands to the mat. Last vinyasa if you want it on the way back to down dog. One more inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth, just sigh it out. Bring the knees down to the mat, feet over to one side. Come to seated on your mat, soles of the feet to the mat. Come all the way down onto your back. If you have a block, grab a block, just set it next to the hips. Come all the way down onto your back, soles of the feet to the mat. You can walk them in so you can get the heels right underneath the knees. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, maybe interlace the fingers underneath you if the shoulders are open. If not, you can grab the outer edges of the mat, lift and spread the chest, no matter what arm variation you have. Slowly start to release, hips come back down to the mat, and just rest here, a couple breaths. Back up, bridge pose. Make sure your feet aren't way ahead of the knees. You want them stacked so the heels are right underneath the knees. You could stay in bridge pose. You could also lift that right knee in toward the chest and extend that right leg up. So you're pushing down into that left heel to make that happen. Set the right foot down to the mat, switch sides. So dig into that right heel, left knee, it's like it's coming in toward the face, then straighten that left leg, dig into the right heel, chest is lifted. Set that left foot down to the mat, set the hips down to the mat, rest. This next round of bridge, we'll take supported bridge because we want to do an inversion. So press into the feet, lift the hips up. If you have a block, slide the block underneath you, maybe the medium height. Rest the hips on the block. If you don't have a block, then you're just doing active bridge pose, and that's fine. You'll hold it for 5 to 8 breaths, come down and take a beat. If you're on the block, lift one leg up. Make sure you feel even on the hips before you lift the other leg up. And then keep lifting and spreading the chest. You're still in a back bend, so you can relax the legs, but keep the upper body working here. And if you're in the inversion, it's a nice way to reverse the blood flow, get it going the other direction. Also, if you don't have a block, you can just do legs up the wall if you have the wall space, and that's still an inversion. Start to bend the knees. If you're in Viparita Karani, legs up on a block, set the feet down to the mat. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, slide the block off to the side, hips come all the way back down onto the mat. Hug the right knee in toward the chest. Extend the left leg out in front of you. Take this right knee, cross it over the body. You need to shift onto the side of that left hip. So you're completely on the side of the left hip. Line up the head, the left hip, left heel. And then maybe start to look to the right if the neck's okay with it. Recline spinal twists. And if this bothers your lower back, keep the knees together, bent to the left. Start to come back to center, both soles of the feet on the mat, center on your back, left knee comes in toward the chest. Just stay here, keep the right foot where it is. Right leg extends forward, cross the left knee over the body, getting onto the side of the right hip. Left arm reaches back behind you. Find a twist that feels good in your body. Start to make your way back to center, feet on the mat. Bring the knees in toward the chest. Start to move the knees around in a circle, keeping the knees and the feet together. Switch the direction, go the other way. Set the feet back down onto the mat. Roll over to your right side. Use the left hand to bring yourself up to seated. Once you get to seated, extend the legs out in front of you. Grab onto the back of the right thigh. Just open the knee out to the side. Grab the right foot. Bring it inside the left leg. So coming into Janu Shirshasana. But we'll do it a little differently. So open the chest to the right. So chest and the right knee are going in the same direction. Look forward at that left foot. Reach the left arm forward. Palm can face up, right arm up and over. So we did a lot of side body opening. We'll just come into one last one. Both hips are down to the mat. You're reaching up and over with the right arm. It doesn't need to touch, the hand doesn't need to touch anything. Some of you might be able to touch the foot, but not if you're just going to lose the whole thing and the chest is going to come down to the mat. You still want the chest to be lifted and the spine to be long. Come back up the way you came. So right arm lifts you back up. Chest is still pointing toward that right knee. Then start to unwind the chest. Turn the chest to face the left toes. It'll feel like a little bit of a twist. Arms reach up to the sky. Fold over the left leg. So if you can easily reach the foot, great. But if you can't, just let the hands rest on the shin or the mat outside the leg. Close the eyes. Head comes down toward the knee. Slowly come back up to seated. Use the right hand to bring the knee back to center. Extend the right leg out in front of you. Grab onto the back of the left thigh. Open it out to the side. Grab the foot. Place it inside the right leg. Open the chest to the left. Right, look forward at the right foot. Right palm faces up. Reach forward. Left arm reaches up and over. Both hips are down. Open the chest like you're trying to open it up toward the sky. And you'll feel a nice side body opening, maybe even in the back, lower left side of the back. We don't all feel poses in the same way. So if you're not feeling it there, it's not a big deal. Slowly come back up. Left arm brings you up. Chest pointing toward the left knee once you're up. Then slowly unwind. Chest points toward the right toes. Reach the arms up. Take an inhale. On the exhale, fold forward over the right leg. Maybe the foot's there. Head comes down toward the knee. Come back up to center, left hand, left knee, extend that left leg forward, reach the arms all the way up, fold down over the legs, Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. All the way back up to seated, soles of the feet to the mat, scoot the hips forward, come down onto your back. Soles of the feet could stay on the mat if there's any tension in the lower back. A nice alternative is bringing the feet wide, knees together, and this is an acceptable shavasana to be in. If your lower back's fine, extend the legs out in front of you, let the toes turn out. Some of us need to lift the chest a little bit so we can get those shoulder blades underneath us. You don't want them to feel like they're going up toward the ears. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Back out through the mouth. Let it all go. Let the body go back to breathing on its own. Come into stillness with the body. This is Shavasana. Start to find some movement in the hands and the feet. Stretch the arms overhead. Walk the feet in. Roll over to your right side. Cradle the head and the arm. Keep the eyes closed. Use the left hand. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat, sitting up tall. Bring the hands together in front of you, connecting the left side of the body with the right. Slight bow of the head. Honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks for joining today. Hope you got what you needed on your mat, and I'll see you next time.